to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Seeing no one here to do the prayer, we'll move on to roll call, please.
Okay, Mayor Williams?
Here.
Councilor Burke?
Here.
Councilor Berger?
Here.
Councilor Culp?
Here.
Councilor Smith?
Here.
Councilor Taylor?
Here.
Councilor Zimmerman is out. Roll call is complete, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Welcome everyone here today, everyone who's online. I don't have any announcements. Does anyone have any announcements?
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. This Sunday, don't forget your mother.
And if you missed it last week, you need to check out the farmers market because it was really nice in that new location. Yes. So move on to approve the minutes for the regular council meeting 1675 held April 21st, 2025. Did everyone get a chance to read them?
I make a motion we approve council meeting minutes 1675.
I'll second.
Okay. Are there any corrections, additions? Any public comments? Public comments or public comments? Then all in favor of the approval of the minutes?
Aye.
Nay? All opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Brings us to department head reports. Mr. Sykes.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. While working with Officer Vincent down there at the PD and then working with the chief, we found out there's not an efficient way to enforce parking within the city right-of-ways for the vehicles that just pull up and park there. We have it covered for RVs, and we can get vehicles, but there's a 5-day wait. It has to sit there for 5 days. So in order to streamline it, we looked at the MCAs, did research, and I'd like to be able to put into committee some of the changes to the ordinance for 1024-0330, stopping, standing, or parking, if the committee would take that up. Okay. And you might also add that this is problematic in the winter when the snow plows are going past and throwing flying snow onto people's vehicles and stuff. So, I guess the ordinance committee,
Yeah.
you're willing to take it? Okay.
What if I say no?
I guess we'll just say, out of luck, Sam.
Again, for the water department right now, spring runoff's coming. We're getting ready for more rains. The water plant's busting their butt right now to keep the turbidity down so we don't go into boil orders. The streets crew has been busting their job. Everybody's been doing a good job to clean out the screens to make sure that we can try to stay away from those boil orders. Right now with the sewer department, we're currently working with Jim Dunnigan. He's with Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks, Libby Dam Mitigation Coordinator, concerning our discharge permit for our sewer. What happened was the Fish, Wildlife Park, the Army Corps of Engineers, and Bonneville Power is working on a fisheries mitigation project on the Kootenai River. What happens is all the phosphorus getting held up above the dam. So they're having a lot of issues with no phosphorus down below. The goal is basically to enhance the food web for the local trout population because it deals with didymo algae, or the rock snot, the white snot that sticks to everything that the fish can't eat and everything. And part of that project may affect us, depends on how much phosphorus we actually add to the river. So I'm going to be working with them on that. To see exactly how much phosphorus we put out or any from there. The other thing is we did finalize a contract with NRDP and WWC Engineering for the hydrology study and the spoils pile engineering plan. We're hoping getting ready to start it here in a few weeks once we can get WWC scheduled with Noble excavating to dig test holes down through that spoils pile. Again, this is only phase 1. We're doing a hydrology study and a study of the pile to find out the percentage contents and get an engineered plan. Once we get that done, we received $250,000 grant. This part's going to cost under $60K. And then before anything's presented to the council, you guys will have to make the decision on whether to move into phase 2, which would be removing the spoils pile and building a parking lot or not. So again, this is just phase one where we're going to get the study that we were supposed to get for the source water protection plan here. Everything else pretty much is on the agenda tonight, but I do have one bit of good news that came in right before the meeting. HB 6, we got a letter from the governor about 2 or 3 weeks ago saying that we got $125,000 for the lift station. If you remember when I was driving back and forth to Helena, well, we were dead last on the list. My job was to get us not defunded. There's a few people defunded, and Arley and Lake County got bumped out. We were bumped up, and we still remain last, so we're going to actually get $500,000 from that grant. So that's some good news. We were hoping for $625,000, but we'll deal with $500,000. And that's my report, Madam Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Sykes? Then on to streets report.
Nothing at this time.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council.
Sorry, Gail.
Once again, so it's been a continuation of our jetting, patch potholes and sweeping. We've been trying to get downtown and the surrounding areas, by the golf course, all that swept up. Been doing a little work at the ball fields with all that, that evolution of getting everything spruced up for the talk of the tournament coming up, and then for the youngsters. So they've done a really nice job. Looks great. As Sam said, we've been battling the screens of the lower reservoir for the runoff. We've got 3 screens that get pretty gummed up with a lot of that algae. There's a lot of algae growing in that lower reservoir. And it just kind of migrates, makes its way into the screens, and then starts plugging them off. So it starts a restriction, which doesn't do the water plant any favors. Skateboard ramp that was approved to be built in Fireman's Park is today they placed some soil, and then they are capping it with sod, so it looks nice. They're going to spruce up some of the areas that they kind of roughed up with traffic in and out of there. So they're planning on opening that, the grand opening May 10th.
Saturday.
It's coming Saturday, correct. Did a little work, joint effort with MDOT down at the Riverfront Park between the 2 boat ramps. There's that sliver of grass just on the upper side of the riverbank. So it's at Rambo Memorial. So that'll be May 25th is going to be the presentation for that. So we worked with them. We got the base in the ground for the plaque that's going to be mounted to it. We also did some topsoil work around some spruce trees down overflow parking at Riverfront Park. They just kind of started getting bare, the rest were exposed. So we're going to try to maintain the health. We got some soil down for that. Street shop employees, we attended a defensive driving course put on by MMIA. We kind of split them in half, did half in the morning, half in the afternoon. That went really well. We also removed 3 trees from Farmers Park that were considered hazard trees. They were dead or in the process of dying. With the mayor and Jennifer Nelson looking at those trees, so it was determined that it was best to remove them. So we got those out of there. Concrete at Libby Volunteer Fire Department is near completion. I spoke with the gentleman this morning, the contractor that's doing that work. He plans on having that wrapped up here by end of week. Seasonal employees, Derek, so he was with us last year. He started on April 8th, and we hired a new employee by the name of Troy, and he will start, I believe, Wednesday, the 7th. So we had a lot of talk about the water leak survey. So we had one done with 24, and we had one done, we had one done late 23, and then one late 24. So TCI started that work on April 8th, and they finished it up on 4/29. So they did 10 leaks with a total cumulative loss of 20,404,000 gallons, and that figure is based off of actual hole size. So I just track the holes as they're going through them, and I just tabulate it all up and correlate the waste to the size of the hole. So the city still has our share to do. We just started on them today. We did 2 of those today. We have a total, I believe, of 13. Also, this last month we had 9 water leak service line replacements. We had 2 sewer service line replacements, so these are failures, so they're new lines. We had 1 new sewer service line, so a request for sewer. 6 new water service line requests and installs, so that's 6 additional new water service lines come online. Also had, we've been battling with employees being out. I had one return back to work last week from knee surgery. He's doing well. And then we had an employee that got injured on the job, and he is back to work. He was only out a few days, but he's seems to be doing well. They're monitoring that, and he's just seems to be back to his normal self. I've just been busy trying to help out where we can, trying to stay on top of things, and we're getting that busy time of year. A lot of contractors requesting a lot of work, so we're just trying to stay on top of the best we can and assist everybody to make sure they get what they like for services.
Thank you.
Questions?
Mayor. I think a couple years ago, or maybe last year, we instituted a street opening permit process.
Yep.
How is that working?
It's actually working good. So working with Sam after all of that, I have been directing everybody to down to City Hall to make that request, and that starts our whole tracking process, and it's working out well because when I go visit, I get back to the shop, I have that paperwork, I make a copy, I keep it with me, I put it in a book, and then I keep all that information together. So through the late fall, all the way through winter, early spring, when the asphalt plants open up, then I start reaching out to each one of them that have, that are attached to that, and I just get, it's kind of pulse them a little bit. Hey, the asphalt plants are open, let's get this wrapped up. And last year they were very receptive to it, and this year I believe they will be as well. But as far as the whole tracking thing and that initiation of it is working out well.
And the lead service line.
Yeah, and the lead service lines. So with that being said, when we're doing these leaks, or doing repairs to the leaks, whenever we uncover a lead gooseneck, automatically, there's no question asked, it goes. We remove it and we replace that sectional line with updated pure core lines. So we're removing those as we see them. But yeah, it's all going well with that.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Police report?
Madam Mayor, Council, this month, the month of April, we had 180 calls for service. Back in 2024, we only had 107. We had 3 assault cases, 8 disturbances, 2 threatening calls, 3 thefts, 10 suspicious calls, 7 crashes, 6 DUIs, 2 mental health calls, 6 vagrancy calls, 7 welfare checks, 14 public assists, 10 911 calls, 3 juvenile problems, 5 city ordinances, and then where we started to see our huge uptake is in our walkthroughs, where officers are just walking through bars as well as businesses, things like that, to make sure everything's safe, everyone's behaving themselves well. A huge jump in walkthroughs, up to 24 and 22 traffic stops. So officers stayed out very busy this year, and we see a lot more of their proactive work with the increase in DUI arrests as well as the increase in walkthroughs and traffic stops. A couple other fun things we had this year, or this last month. Technically, the Special Olympics was May 1st, but it just happened, so that went very well. We had a great turnout, and it was a great event to be participating in as well. All my officers were ecstatic to participate in it, and it was fun having that time with our local athletes. We also had our new patrol car, when it's paid for by the Montana Tourism, come into town, so you guys probably see that driving around now and then. It turned out phenomenal. The equipment in it is absolutely excellent, and we're ecstatic to keep doing that and rotating through our fleet to update it to modern policing. Unfortunately, we didn't get the newest grant I was hoping for this month. That grant was the Road to Zero 2025. There were over 170 applicants nationwide reaching for that money, and unfortunately, we didn't get the pick. So we'll keep driving forward. We will find that money in other ways. It just won't be this month. Other good news is our shed for the range was built. So the lower grant that we received built a wonderful range, shed / classroom up on a range, so our guys can be up there. We can store our equipment better, keep it protected from the weather and elements, as well as give us a good environment for the training that we do, or the trainings that we host. And as of May 1st, I have officially been chief for 2 years. So pretty excited to see how far we've come and all the great changes we've had. So thank you very much. Any questions? Oh, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that you all have given me to be in this position.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job.
I even let him give his report. No reports.
You looked good on the horse.
With Leanne, there's no finance report. Under committee reports, we did have a meeting with the budget committee, and basically because Gail and Ethan are new, we basically walked through the process of putting the budget together. And so we'll do more nitty-gritty in the figures in the meetings coming up. Brings us to building report.
The building committee had a meeting. We went over the Blackburn request. That's on the agenda, I think, later this evening. Other things that were brought to our attention we discussed in the committee meeting is we want to go down and look at the Fred Brown Pavilion for the cracks and stuff in the logs. See if that's something we need to look at taking care of before it gets ahead of us, and maybe the roof at the ball field grandstands. See before that structure is no good.
Okay. Thank you. Cemetery parks.
Nothing.
Brian's out, so there's no fire. Streets.
No report.
Ordinance.
Nothing at this time.
And no water, sewer, wildlife.
Nothing at this time.
And planning zoning is on the agenda. Great. Brings us to public comments on non-agenda items where the public can make comments on items that are under our jurisdiction but are not on the agenda. And I'm going to ask Steve Lauer to talk. He had requested to be on the agenda somewhere between my notes to Leanne and her getting the agenda out. It got missed. It is regarding a street closure during their firemen's convention.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. So yes, just we're requesting that on Friday the 13th and Saturday the 14th of June, we're a little over a month, to just close right in front of the fire station, which is 119 East 6th, just from Montana, just to the alley. We do not need to close in front of the police station or none of that, just to the alley. Some stuff that will be set up right in front of the fire station for a couple, 3 activities for the guests. The women has got stuff planned, doing set tables and stuff out there. So that's it. So if you just take that into consideration, any questions about that? It's simple, I guess.
We will make sure it gets on the next agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brings us to items on the agenda. First up is Resolution 2054 and the intention to annex JB's Tires at 1115 West 9th Street. A resolution number 2054, a resolution of intent to extend the corporate limits of the city of Libby, Montana to annex within the boundaries of the city 2 tracts of land along the U.S. Highway 2 for which the owners have petitioned for annexation and described herein. Section 4, Township 30 North, Range 31 West, parcels A and B on certificate of survey 4869, relocated boundary. The acres is 1.140 and 0.64. I'm not going to read all the detailed description. I will skip to the back to whereas JB's wages testament residual I practiced that word trust 100% owners of the property described herein filed a petition with the city attorney on March 17th 2025 requesting annexation, and therefore the city council shall consider this petition for annexation pursuant to the statutory annexation by municipalities providing services method set forth in Title VII, Chapter 2, Part 46, Section 4605, and whereas the property described herein is currently non-zoned within the county, it is the intention of the City of Libby to annex the property with a city zoning of highway commercial. And whereas the Zoning Commission did on May 5th, 2025 recommend accepting the application and setting a public hearing to all matters pertaining to the annexation of the above described parcel. And whereas the city clerk treasurer shall publish notice of a proposed extension of the city limits on May 7th and 16th, 2025, as provided by Section 76.2.303 MCA, and whereas the City Council shall, on the second day of June, 2025, hear all matters pertaining to the annexation and zoning of the hereby described parcels. And whereas it shall be determined by the Libby City Council if it is in the best interest of the City of Libby and the inhabitants thereof, as well as the current and future inhabitants of the lands to be annexed that are described herein, which lands are contiguous to the corporate limits of the City of Libby, to be annexed into the City of Libby, and hereby be declared to be the intent of the City of Libby that the corporate limits of the City of Libby be extended to include said lands described herein within the limits of the City of Libby. And now therefore be it resolved that this is the intention of the city, that the corporate limits of the city be extended to annex the tract of land herein described and shown on Exhibit A.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
the clause related to the zoning commission, that actually we met on, not today, we met on the 28th.
Oh,
April 28th.
Yeah.
oh, yes, April 28th. You'll correct that. No, I should have got it when I read it earlier today and was practicing that word. Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2054 with the correction.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, are there any questions pertaining to this request for annexation? It has actually been in the work for some time. So are there any public comments regarding this request? Public comments? Public comments? Then all in favor of resolution 2054?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The resolution is approved. We will get the notice of the public hearing posted and on the agenda for June 2nd. That brings us to the awarding of the bid for Spruce Street reconstruction phase 2 to Thompson Contracting Incorporated. We did open bids here last week. Thompson was the lowest bidder. The two bids are itemized on the spreadsheet on the back. And so TD&H, the engineering firm handling that project, is recommending that we accept their bid of $344,112.
I'll make a motion, we approve the bid for the Spruce Street reconstruction to Thompson Contracting.
Phase 2.
Phase 2.
Second.
Okay. Are there any questions or need for any clarification? Any? Seeing none. Public comments? Public comments? Public comments? Then the council have any questions before we vote? All in favor of accepting the bid from Thompson?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will get that paperwork taken care of. Brings us next to the land use agreement for the limited exclusive and non-exclusive use between City of Libby and Montana Department of Military Affairs and Montana National Guard. It lays out the purpose of why they want to do it, use the property for training, the terms of the lease, of the agreement, and Mr. Sykes has worked with them to do, work all of the details out, so if you have any questions, he will be able to answer them. And he did send this out earlier for you to look at. Any questions?
Okay.
Want a motion? I'll make a motion, we approve land use agreement with National Guard for use of Riverfront Park for training.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Public comment? Public comment. Then all in favor of the approving the land use agreement with the National Guard?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That agreement is approved. They will be glad to hear that. So the next up is Resolution 2053, a resolution of the City Council to adopting 2023 Western Montana Region Hazard Mitigation Plan. It was quite extensive. I don't know if you took the time to read through it. Whereas the City of Libby recognizes the threat that national hazards pose to people and property within our community, and whereas undertaking hazard mitigation actions will reduce the potential for harm to people and property for future hazardous occurrences, and whereas an adopted hazard mitigation plan is required as a condition of future funding for mitigation projects under multiple FEMA pre- and post-disaster mitigation grant programs, and whereas the City of Libby resides within the planning area and fully participated in the mitigation planning process to prepare this hazard mitigation plan, and now therefore it be resolved that the Libby City Council hereby adopts the Western Montana Region Hazard Mitigation Plan and as an official plan, and be it further resolved that the Libby City Council will submit this adoption resolution to the Montana Division of Disaster and Emergency Services and Federal Emergency Management Agency Region 8 officials to enable the plan's final approval. While some content may require revisions to meet the plan approval requirements, changes occurring after adoption will not require the City Council to readopt any further iterations of the plan.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2053.
Second.
Okay. Any questions about the plan?
Just a couple. So, I guess I'm confused why it says 2023.
Actually, that was, this was a cut and paste that we had to do because we had to go out when it was approved through Western Region as it's coming down to us. And then it says at the bottom it may need changes from here to here.
Okay.
That was a cut and paste.
So we're going to correct that.
No, that was a cut and paste that they required us to put in there.
It's sort of like the building codes. The state passes them, by the time it gets down to us, we're passing one that's dated.
And so this also says we're adopting it on the second day of June.
We got fucked up a meeting earlier than that.
You did, didn't you?
I got it done earlier.
Shall we change that date? And change that to the 5th of May.
And are we missing a cover page for the plan? Like it just launches into I.1.
The plan was
So this is just an excerpt.
the Western Region that we're covered under.
It would have been cool to have the cover page, just see where.
Okay.
Tell Boyd you want the cover page. So, any other questions? Do you want to impress that if we were looking for any kind of grants from hazard damage, we do have to have a program in place.
Oh, no, I know, I was involved in
Yes.
10 years ago.
Yes. So, any public comment? Public comment? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The plan is approved. A bill brings us next to the Building Committee's recommendation regarding the request from Dave Blackburn. there was a recommendation handed out prior to the meeting. Would you like to recap it, Mr. Taylor?
Sure, if I find it. There we go. So the building committee met on 4/22 to discuss the Blackburn proposal. The meeting was called to order. We went over our current minutes from the previous meeting. The committee reviewed the request. After some discussion back and forth, no one was against it. There was some discussion over the dollar amount that should be attached to it. Mr. Blackburn had requested on January 2nd for a fee of $150 a month. We went back and forth and settled on $200 a month if that's agreeable with Mr. Blackburn, and would recommend it for a one-year trial to see how it goes.
Okay. So are there any questions? Actually, it's...
Sure.
Hmm? Okay. Are there any restrictions or anything on the...
Just the terms that were on the initial proposal.
Okay.
And we did decide to go with the Riverfront Park location because he initially had asked for by the ball field.
Right.
On the initial proposal.
Okay.
And so the recommendation is for the area designated, yeah.
Yes.
Right, along the
Backside of the train side of the road.
That's
City Service Road, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there parameters on how much you can use,
I
or?
was requesting,
Whatever his initial proposal.
yeah, correct,
12 by 24.
150 feet by 200 feet. 12 to 14 foot by 24 foot fly shop.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we approve that proposal.
A second.
Okay. Are there any other questions or discussion? Any public comment? Public comment? Public comment. Then if there are no other questions, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Mr. Sykes will get with Mr. Blackburn to work out the details. Brings us to approval of claims received today.
I'll make a motion, we approve all claims received to date.
Second.
Everyone have a chance to look at them? Any questions on them? Any public comments? Public comments? Then all in favor of the claims?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Claims are approved. Brings us to approve all business license application, Azure Mobile Ice Cream, A Flawless Fleet, Julie's, W.O. Woost Plumbing, and Wiley's Frozen Treats.
Make a motion, we approve all business license applications received to date.
Second.
Okay, any questions? There were two of them that was waiting for Walter's signature.
I think one of those is on here.
It was in the packet, but I don't,
Is that Wally Loose? Is he still plumbing? Or is that his son?
it's Ashley,
He's coming
Never
back,
had a-
coming back into it.
Huh?
Coming back into it, I believe.
Is he coming back into it? Wow.
where are the two that are, have a sticky note on them? Julie's, yes, it was Julie's, and,
One item from last time was not in district that supported that use.
push, one of them is and one of them is not.
We have the Julie's.
Julie's is, and Plush Pursuit is not. So, she is actually doing cleaning, so she doesn't have a fixed location. So, it might be why they went ahead and put it onto the agenda. Have an opinion one way that whether to include it or remove it?
Which one?
Julie's?
I think it's fine.
I agree.
So it's a mobile unit?
Yes, she,
I don't think that was the same one as last time.
this is Julie Spencer.
The last time was the Falls Fleet.
Right.
And it was established in the new claims that there will be a mobile.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize what you were asking. Okay, I think we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay, any public comments? Public comments? Okay, all in favor of approving the business license received?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Those are approved. Brings us to the discussion of a much discussed community development policy. I did listen to the back tapes, and I made some changes which are in red. And there are some changes to the application as well. Let's start at the first red, which is under the purpose, no loans to area businesses will be provided, by taking out the word granted. And the city wishes to partner with local organizations, and I didn't know, and businesses should be in there, for local projects that fit within the outlined objectives and use. Any comments on that portion?
I think it's good.
Okay. Then on the back page, under project eligibility and review, the organizations requesting funds are required to complete the Libby Community Development Fund application, which includes a description of the project and the projected project costs. Okay. All right. The next one is the city council will be the decision-making body for all requests to use the community development fund and will evaluate each expenditure based on benefit provided to the community, taking into consideration the following criteria. And the changes to the grants, to the criteria is the proposed use for matching funds versus grants, and is if the project is multi-phase, will more community development funds be requested in future phases. So, any comments or questions there? Okay, and I did put in blue the last line because I wasn't sure if it was still applicable. Then I realized the VFW loan is still outstanding, so that needs to stay. Okay, are we pretty much in agreement that this version meets everybody's requests? Okay. Take a look at the application. I did add down at the bottom that monies are distributed on a reimbursement basis. Receipts must be supplied to the city clearly showing how they were spent on the funded project prior to the issuance of funds.
I think this is just a really good practice. We started doing that with the construction of the golf course, the new clubhouse. Took a minute. And I think it's just a good reporting practice, and they have to show accountability where the money went, and then they can get reimbursed just like
Okay, is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, and then the application itself had some changes to it. Unfortunately, mine's not in red, so I must got a copy instead of the original. Did anyone? I know that Gail had some comments on this page, the applicant information.
Yeah, about the payroll income, but we can, like you said, they can mark it NA.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a thing.
Anything else? Nope. Okay. On the second page, any comments or questions on the lines on the second page? Anyone else have any comments on those two pages? Okay, so are we ready to put it on the agenda for approval?
Yes.
Yes, please.
After how many months?
18?
At least. So, okay. Then I will get that on the agenda for the next, get all the the red lines and stuff off and get it on the agenda for approval at the next meeting. Which brings us to the street committee's recommendation regarding the Suter property. We are not quite ready to bring that back up for our decision. I did talk to Sam talked to Mr. Suter today and told him so that they did not have to come and talk to him about the reasons why. So brings us to general comments from the council. I do have some comments. Does anybody else have any before I talk?
I have a couple. I think we're going to face some tumultuous times ahead, and I would really ask that the folks in this community keep their wits about them. I'm just really concerned about a lot of the hateful rhetoric that's online and really divisive language, and it just doesn't help each other. You know, I think we can do better. And I would also implore landlords to please be mindful. As an employer, I have employees who cannot find any decent housing that they can afford, and that is a real struggle for people. And so I know there's new housing going up, but the affordability issue is a chasm there. So I would ask everybody to figure out how they can do their part to help the community.
Okay. Anybody else? I did forward out the Montana League's summary of the laws that got passed that now are on their way to the governor's signature, and it is really unknown at the moment how those are going to affect us, especially the ones regarding property tax and how they're doing the new taxes, and whether that 4% cap will hurt us. I know a lot of the larger cities are already very concerned that that's going to hurt them a great deal. The smaller communities probably will be less hurt, but that does not mean that we're not going to feel some ouch. So we're hoping to get some clarification. Leanne is at clerk's training this week. I'm pretty sure that's going to be hot topics. Some of the planning that passed is about parking, that we won't be able to require off-street parking in some cases, and we know how that creates problems with people passing on the streets and plowing and that kind of stuff. So we'll have to wait and see how this all pans out and how much effect it does have on us. So I hope everybody read those. Oh, and Gail, the distracted driving didn't pass.
Oh, it didn't?
It did not.
It's disappointing.
That's amazing.
Yes, yes it did.
Yeah, because it was backed by Department of Transportation and everything. So,
So we're the only state.
So it got tabled in a committee and never came out of the committee.
It never came out.
Because I was looking for it today to see specifically.
I know a lot of counties have made their own. A lot of towns.
Yes. That's kind of what's been, since they will not address it. It was actually sponsored by a couple out of Anaconda, and who's lost a child to a distracted driver. Yes, and they were very disappointed that it didn't pass.
Interesting.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about was IP. You're all aware that IP came to town with a changed attitude in early April, but there has not been any real follow-through on that conversation. Both attorneys left the country. One of them came back. Alan's still out, but they have had some email communication that got forwarded to me over the weekend, and so the IP attorney is going to start putting together a draft, a continuation of the 2010 agreement. Where it's actually going to end up, I'm not making any projections at this point. We're cautiously optimistic, but we'll see. We had been trying to use the EPA as a go-between. When they finally came back to the table and were willing to work with this, that outside counsel that IP had was a hard no and never got past that. So they're coming to town with a new attitude, was a real fresh air, but I don't know how long it's going to take.
Don't hold your breath yet.
Don't spend any money yet. That's the big
But
thing.
at least
Do
the
not spend.
conversations
There
are
is
back.
conversation there, and hopefully
When they get back in country.
it'll move along eventually.
More progress than we've had in 4 years.
That is very true. So, any questions about that? Okay. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.